From the X Sports Network, this is the UNA Report, presented by First Class Charter.
Welcome to the Week 3 pregame show as we get you ready for everything going down between North Alabama and UT Martin. It's a big matchup for the Lions. Let's hear what head coach Brent Dearman had to say as he gets ready to take on the Skyhawks.
UNA head football coach Brent Dearman. Coach, before we move on to UT Martin, let's just put a bow on Illinois State, nationally ranked team in Brawley Stadium. What about the fight your team showed for 4 quarters?
You know, you're really excited about the fight. We're down 2 possessions at 2 different moments in that game, both in the second half of that football game. And to see our team get all the way back where we're throwing the ball into the end zone to tie the game at the end of the game just shows the grit, shows the fight, shows the perseverance of the team that we have. That's the positive. The negative is we got to win football games. We're not happy with moral victories. We're not excited just to compete against nationally ranked teams. Now it's time to beat nationally ranked teams. That's the standard of excellence that this place has always had. We've got to get it back to that, and our guys got to find a way, our coaches got to find a way to take that next step. Yeah, we're competing. Yeah, we're a better football team, but now we need to win football games against the tough competition that we got.
3rd straight week, you guys have taken home UAC Freshman of the Week honors. This week it was Josh Anglin, freshman linebacker. 12 tackles, a couple big plays throughout the ball game, Coach. But what about another big-time honor for UNA freshman?
You're talking about a freshman class that is extremely talented. We're quite possibly one of the best classes, I'd say, in recent years around here. To see them come and affect the game already in the first 3 games of the season, that's rare. Especially at positions like D-line and linebacker. You know, you can see a receiver affect the game. You can see a DB probably affect the game. But to see a D-lineman, his true freshman year, affect the football game, or to see a linebacker, those are rare things that happen. And those, Josh and Fred and Jalen Fletcher are all just small examples of how good this freshman class can be. I'm excited for Josh to get his first start this past week. Excelled very well, and is playing beside a guy in Jackson Bratton that both of those guys get the football on the ground. That's their talent, is they can run sideline to sideline. They don't miss tackles. They get the ball on the ground. So excited about the future, excited about what Josh and Fred, but also the rest of this freshman class bring to us.
It's the 4th time UNA's won that Freshman of the Week honor, most of any other school in the UAC. You're building this program through the high school ranks. I mean, how proud are you of that?
I'm extremely proud. You know, it's tough nowadays. Everybody wants to win now. We live in a microwavable society that everybody thinks that game 1, game 2 of year 2, you should be competing against Memphis, or you should be winning games, and that's what we want to do. But the reality is we're still young. The reality is we're playing with young guys, and it may take the 4th game, it may take the 6th game, but I know this, that we're competing, we're fighting our tails off every game. The wins are going to come, but to see the young talent that we have and that we're building around here, we're trying to build it the right way. We're building a foundation. We want to build our house upon the rock, as the Bible may say. We don't want to just build a temporary house. We don't want to hire mercenaries for the time being. We're building it on high school recruits, and most of these guys are Alabama high school football players that are building this foundation. So we're really excited about the future of this place.
UT Martin, this week's opponent, the preseason favorite out of the Big South OVC Football Association. They've won the last 3 OVC crowns, but also, Coach, expected rain from the hurricane moving through. So how have you guys approached preparations for what could be a slippery field conditions potentially?
You know, today will probably be the highest rain chance. We're going to try to get a little bit of wet ball stuff either today or tomorrow. Normally our Thursday practice is our kind of a walk-through slower day. We treat Friday as a ramped up day, so tomorrow everybody's got an opportunity to catch a kick between wingbacks, guards, frontline guys on kickoff, all of our punt returners, kick returners, all of our receivers. Everybody's got an opportunity to catch the football. We'll have an overextended period tomorrow of doing those things. We've got to take care of the ball. Can't put ball on the ground, can't fumble the football, can't have bad passes. All those things will be overemphasized tomorrow at our Friday practice. Our center snaps, all those things there. So, and then defensively, you got to be very optimistic of when it does get in our hands, when the other team does put the ball on the ground. We got to take advantage of those moments. And turnover, the turnover battle is huge, in a rain game, in a weather game. So we got to win the turnover battle. We got to take care of it. We got to get it on the defense side of the ball.
Last thing, just tell us about the challenge of facing this talented UT Martin team.
You know, UT Martin's a very good team, very well-coached team. We've got tons of respect for Coach Simp and all that he has over there, all he's built over there. He's been there a good amount of years, and he's built that place into kind of an average FCS program into an OVC champion the last 3 years. He does a really good job, but that same team came here last year and we were up 21-0 at halftime. That's something that we got to remind our guys is we've got a pretty good team too, and they're coming here receiving votes. They're coming in here as the #1 favorite to win their conference, and you had them on the ropes last year. And we've got, when we're in those moments, and we're going to be in that moment in this game. Hopefully, you got to be able to put a team away. They're going to be a hard team, but I think we're a hard team too.
Coming up next, we have a pair of features on both the offensive and defensive coordinators for the Lions.
For decades, First Class Charter has provided high-quality motor coach transportation services to the Tennessee Valley. With numerous safety and cleanliness accreditations, First Class Charter is ready to make your group trip a reality. Contact us today by visiting firstclasscharter.net. First Class Charter, the official motor coach company of the North Alabama Lions.
From the X Sports Network, this is the UNA Report, presented by First Class Charter.
Welcome back to the pregame show. One of the big stories so far for the first 3 games for North Alabama has been the play of its defense, and that is led by Brock Caraboa.
Through the first 3 games of the 2024 season, the talk around UNA has been the play of the defense led by defensive coordinator Brock Caraboa, though he thinks there's plenty of room for improvement.
We're off to a start, really as a team that we will hope to be better at, but I do see a progression in the defense from game 1 to game 3 in aspects of tackling, communication, and being able just to everybody be on the same page. Now, we want to be able to execute better in certain situations, especially momentum situations where we can be able to take that next step. So that's the one thing we're continuing to work on is in the momentum part of the game, can we be able to take the next step and be able to flip that game into our favor. So I'm pleased with a couple of things that we're doing on defense, but there's definitely some things that we have to continue to get better at, limiting the big play, making sure that when we have them on the ropes, we continue to put them on the ropes. But I like the direction of where we're going right now. I think it's upward trajectory for sure.
The Lions have faced 3 tough teams to start, but his group has been up for the challenge.
Some of the top offenses in the country, when you look at whatever Massey ratings or strength of schedule ratings going against the offense. I mean, SEMO almost beat New Mexico State. Memphis is the top G5 program, one of the top offenses in the country regardless of that. And then Illinois State's top 18 team in the country who fights for the playoffs every year. So it's definitely a challenge that for us, but we welcome it. It doesn't matter to us who goes on the schedule. It's just the next opponent, and I think it's going to do dividends for us in the long run. So we're excited about it.
In his young career, Caraboa has been a lot of places, all of which have led him to the right place.
So I started as a GA as at Marion University under head coach Ted Karras and Martin Mathis. I lived in a dorm for 2 years. Didn't make any money. Just lived off the cafeteria food in the dorm room. And then I was lucky enough to get a position job at Marion after I got my GA job. I was the D-line coach. After 3 years as the D-line coach, I became the coordinator there. And I was the coordinator there for 4 years. Had the opportunity, after we had a successful stints on defense, I was able to go to University of Kansas as an analyst. And that's where I met Coach Dearman. I was there for 2 years, and then I went to Tiffin University, a Division II school in Ohio, under Coach Chris Reisert, and was there for a year. And then as soon as Coach Dearman called me, I came to join him here at North Alabama. I couldn't say no to that opportunity to be with him and be down south coaching football. So I haven't been a lot of places, and that's a good thing.
His family is at home in Florence, where the most important people are happy.
And my wife, I'll tell you this, my wife loves it down south though. So she likes the south. We've been in Indiana, Kansas, and Ohio. As soon as we went south to Tennessee, it was like I was better looking at a husband. I had a better smile, had everything. So we're gonna try to keep it down south. So yeah, it's been awesome. Definitely a journey. We've been loving it.
His philosophy is being the aggressors on defense and taking the fight to the other side.
We want to play offense on defense. We want to try to be able to attack the offense as much as possible, get in your face, have different looks, different combinations where the offensive coordinator, the quarterback, is have to make adjustments on the fly. We want to have great communication. When you do that, you have to have great communication in the back end, up front. Everybody has to be on the same page. So I want to be a defense that can continually, when you close your eyes and you listen, you just hear guys talking, and when you hear talking, you hear confidence. And I want to be great tacklers. And if you can do those three things, you play offense on defense, you be a great communication, and you be great tacklers. That sets yourself up to be a solid defense in the country.
There's been a lot of change on the offensive side of the ball for the Lions and a lot of improvements along the way. One of the men leading that charge is offensive coordinator Kevin Weavers.
The offense has seen a lot of improvement so far in 2024, and Kevin Weavers knows more needs to be had.
We've had some bright spots. We've had some things we really need to clean up. I felt like we've done a great job in the first 3 games of running the football. Obviously turnovers have been an issue for us. We've had some missed assignments, and so we've got some stuff that we got to polish up. But we feel like we're improving.
The passing game has gotten back on track, shown by its performance against Illinois State.
We sure did. You get a new quarterback, and you're always trying to get guys to be in rhythm and have that that bond between each other, between receiver and quarterback, and it just takes time sometimes, but we feel like it's going in the right direction.
Weaver started his coaching journey at the high school level, and now he's made it to one of the highest.
Started out as a high school coach in the state of Arkansas, and went back to Arkansas Tech University to get my master's degree as a graduate assistant. Met Coach Dearman. We hired him as the offensive coordinator from Auburn. And we've just kind of been blessed to kind of be able to move around and coach together ever since. So left 1 year, went to Ouachita Baptist, and then he got the head job at Bethel University, went with him there, and then went to Kansas with him, and I've been at FAU with him, and glad to still be with him here. And so when you're in this business long enough, it kind of becomes about being a family, and he's definitely part of my family.
During his time at Bethel, Weavers was a defensive coordinator, taking lessons into the present.
Coach Dearman offered me that job over there. I thought he was crazy, and I thought he lost his mind, and he said, no, we'll be good, and we were really good. We were 10-0, and it was a special year, but being that year on defense really changed the way I see the game, and so I felt like it made me a more well-rounded coach and got kind of a holistic look at how football's played, and it's made me a better coach in the long run.
Weavers and Dearman have followed the same path the last few years, becoming good friends in the process.
It sure have, and I got in this business, and I was a high school coach, and I really enjoyed it. And I figured out early on that I never had the dream of making $1 million or being a big-time Power 5 coach. I just wanted to work with great people. And Coach Dearman got the job at Arkansas Tech University, and it didn't take me too long to realize what he was about. And I was about the same things. It was faith, his family, his football, and he epitomizes everything that I'm about as well. And so we've always had that connection, and I felt like I've always, even though sometimes it's unspoken, I know what his standard and expectation is, and loving these kids is his #1 expectation, and it's always been mine too. And so I feel like I share his vision for what he wants, and I've always tried to stay with him wherever I could.
Dearman is the primary play caller on offense, but Weavers has just as much of a say as anyone.
When you work with somebody as long as we work together, you kind of know what he's looking for on each play, and hey, where's the 3 technique, or hey, what coverage are they playing? Were they outside leverage or inside leverage? And so the little details to each play, just haven't been in this offense for a long time. I feel like I can read his mind, kind of like a married couple. You know what your wife's thinking. I know what he's thinking sometimes even before he's thinking it, and I feel like sometimes I can kind of provide him with a little bit of advice. Hey, coach, this wasn't there, but maybe this is the answer to that, and bounce some things back and forth. And so just give him some advice whenever he needs it, and help the team as a whole.
Coming up next, we check in with everything that's been going down in UNA athletics this week.
For decades, First Class Charter has provided high-quality motor coach transportation services to the Tennessee Valley. With numerous safety and cleanliness accreditations, First Class Charter is ready to make your group trip a reality. Contact us today by visiting firstclasscharter.net. First Class Charter, the official motor coach company of the North Alabama Lions.
From the X Sports Network, this is the UNA Report, presented by First Class Charter.
Welcome back to the pregame show. Now it's time to check in with everything else that's been going down in the world of North Alabama athletics.
The Lion women's soccer team had their game at Alabama State canceled due to weather. Up next, UNA will host West Georgia to start ASUN play on Thursday. In volleyball, the Lions dropped the pair of matches in the UNA Volleyball Classic. First to Arkansas State 3-1, then to UAB 3-0. Next, they'll face Jacksonville State on Saturday at 3. In the cross country, both Lion squads finished in the top 25 of the Southern Showcase from Huntsville on Friday. The men 13th and the women 24th. Freshman Brian Belt set the school record in the race while finishing 8th overall.
That does it for the pregame show. Don't forget to check out all the highlights going down tonight in our postgame report.
This is the X Sports Network.